Hi, Amy.
Hi, Kyla. How are you?
So good. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm great.
Yay.
Yeah,
Yay.
I'm follicular and
Yes, I was waiting for that. I'm like, where is she on her cycle?
I will never sign up to do a podcast interview if I'm luteal. Unless
Oh
you're
my
like, hey,
God.
do you want to cry together?
Yeah, which that is welcome on this podcast for sure.
Fair.
We can cry. It's happened before. Tell the sweet people a little bit about you, if you don't mind.
So I am a coach, I'm a mentor, I'm a speaker. I work in the online space and have done so for a long time. I've done a lot of different things, but currently what I am the most lit up about is working with women, particularly with feminine energy in life, in relationships, in business. And my tagline is like the wetter, better life. And that just kind of covers all the bases, you know?
I love it so much. It's yeah. Can you like trademark that? Have you looked? Does it
I
exist?
should.
You should. It's really good. Okay, and then a question that I have, and I want to get this out before I forget, is what are you currently reclaiming?
What am I reclaiming? Oh, that's a good one. I am reclaiming currently a lot of my past stories. And I feel like, I don't know where we're going to take this podcast exactly, but those of us that have
Whatever.
experienced like a lot of trauma, um, I feel like sometimes we end up settling into that sort of like victim space, and we feel like some of our stories, some of our path gets almost like taken from us. And so I have been in a space where I have been I actively reclaimed my present moment a while back, right? My life is very much mine. I'm able to separate myself from that sort of victimhood, but one of the things that I've been doing lately is casting back on my stories and reclaiming them, essentially rewriting them. And that's really helping my brain to change how it feels about it, how it feels in my body to cast back to these, times that I definitely needed a reclamation of self.
Mhm. Yeah, that just with the work that you do, I feel like it's it's important. I almost feel like okay, how am I going to say this? I feel like it's almost like our duty if we're going to be helping women move through these big shifts and understand their body and understand their worth and understand how they get to show up in this world and understand all of these big beautiful pieces. We have to do that. Hey, we have to go
Yeah,
through a bit of the muck.
totally.
Yeah. What led you to this work? These we're just gonna get the like basic boring questions out of the way, you
Yeah,
know?
let's do it.
It's like
Um,
foreplay.
I it was not a gentle process. I wouldn't say I was led to this work. This work kept smacking me in the face over and over again and has been doing like my whole life. When I was in high school, my friends would all joke that I was like, I was the friend group therapist. I was the friend group. I don't even think life coach was like really a coined term at that
Mm-hmm.
time. I studied psych in university, and people just kept saying to me, you should be a life coach, you should be a life coach. But again, it just wasn't, for one, it wasn't as much of a thing. And for two, um, I was pretty much always going through it. Like my entire 20s, I was going through it. And so you tell yourself that story that like, well, I can't lead until I'm on the other side of it. And there was an
Mm-hmm.
aspect for me um that I liked to help other people, right? As a way to kind of like bury what was happening for me.
Right.
But yeah, so this stuff just kept finding me. It didn't matter what job I had or what area of work I was in. This is what I ended up doing. Whether I did holistic nutrition. I'm life coaching everyone. I did eyelashes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm life coaching everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I did network marketing. I'm life coaching everyone. So, um, what kind of finally made me feel like brave enough and bold enough to do this was losing absolutely everything that I ever thought that I had, which was, of course, not really a loss at all, but It's not how it felt
Mm.
in the moment. And
Mhm.
yeah, it was like at that point, I mean, I use the word God, other people use different words. It was like, this is what you have to do. This is what you're meant to do. You didn't go
Mhm.
through all this for nothing. So,
Yeah.
yeah. But it
Mm.
wasn't like a gentle lead,
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
know?
I feel like when we, maybe ignore is not the right word, but when we miss the universal cues, eventually she's like, hey, bitch, it's right
Literally.
here.
Yeah.
It's right
Yeah.
here.
We
Oh
gave
my
you like the
God.
nudges, and now we're just going to rip the rug out from
Yeah.
underneath you so that you have no choice.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that happens, gosh, that happens to so many people in so many different ways. And we still miss
We
it.
fight it.
We still
Yeah.
miss it.
Yeah.
I was listening to a podcast that you were on recently, and you were talking about our bleed. And I know that you do so much more than this, but I just want to share that I've been in different spaces, different teachings, different programs, listened to different people educate on our cycle. And you have a way about it. I don't know what it is about you. You like, you simplify it, but you also like sexify it. Like you make it like, of course you do. And
I'm a Scorpio, remember?
right. And it's like, okay, so I'm 40, and honest to God, learning about my cycle has been the last like 2 years for me, as
Yeah.
I'm literally like coming in towards probably not having a cycle, which is I can't even think about that right now. So thank you for doing that. And I don't know if that is, I don't know if I'm like leading into a question, but can we talk maybe even a little bit about the importance of understanding your cycle as a woman and how that is a reclamation of power?
Oh, that is the fucking reclamation. Like
Yeah.
that is it. To me, we can busy ourselves with all of these other pieces. And, obviously I'm, the feminine energetics, but we can't do feminine energetics without reclaiming this part of us. And, it's funny that you say that because my mom, who is in her 60s, talks about this stuff, shares my work with her friends, is so excited about it because even for her casting back and removing the shame that she felt for these ebbs and flows in energy,
Mhm.
removing the shame from her younger self around this process that for some reason none of us were ever properly taught about. So it's like,
Mhm.
I don't really think it matters when we come into this information. Of course, like a huge part of my work and what fires my work around the female cycle is that I hope that we pass this along,
Mhm.
right? Like I ran a program for a couple of years called Kitty Classes, and it was literally like a vagina cycle class. And my hope was just that every woman who listened to that and heard that, which was over the course of 2 years, I think over 80 women, that every single one of those would just tell someone
Yeah.
a little shred of it, right?
Yeah.
And that woman will tell their daughter or their niece a
Mhm.
little shred of it at some point in time, and that slowly this will be a reclamation for all women
Mhm.
because there's so much there. And I I feel like it's the biggest compliment for you to say that I sort of like sexify it because that's the feminine, right? We are the
Mhm.
eros. We
Mhm.
like everything about us is delicious.
Mhm.
And of course, when we look historically, the feminine is delicious, and men have fought and died and gone to wars
Mhm.
for women, for pussy,
Yeah.
right? And that's huge. And so it has been stifled, it has been suppressed, it has been shamed. We all grew up, were filed into a classroom in like the fifth grade and told one day you're gonna bleed and it's gonna be painful and here's a giant pad, and we all like scuttled off like mortified and stuffed it in our backpacks. And that's like a collective essentially trauma that we all experienced, and then it doesn't really go much further than that. So
Mhm.
yeah, the cycle stuff, wherever you know, whenever and wherever the information finds you in your life is perfect. And we
Mhm.
can unravel so much. You know, like I literally just said, you know, we can reclaim our old stories. We can reclaim those old stories about, you know, our past relationship to our own female body and to our cycle at any
Mhm.
point.
Yeah. Excuse me. Okay, now I'm like hopping back to the reclaiming my old stories. Is there like what's happening in that? Is there forgiveness? Is there an understanding? Is there like what's happening in that process for you?
Yeah, lots of forgiveness for sure. Not just you know, a lot of self-forgiveness, but I feel like that piece I'd kind of like unlocked along the way. Um, Actually, I feel like it's not, I feel like forgiveness I did before, and right now it's like even beyond forgiveness, and we've merged into like gratitude,
Mhm.
even for the really hard, really sticky, really ugly bits.
Mhm.
I have reclaimed my relationship with my dad, which has been like that was like my biggest wound. And it, of course, led me into an incredibly abusive relationship with someone else that I have, you
Mhm.
know, now been able to come to a place of kind of like gratitude with.
Mhm.
And so it's like the forgiveness comes and then that kind of has to like marinate, you know, it takes
Mhm.
literally years to really let the forgiveness like settle in. And then coming to a place of just being able to view the whole story differently. Not that it didn't happen, not in
Mhm.
like a gaslight your past self kind of way. Um, my mantra in 2023 was with new eyes, and it was that I wanted to look at every situation, but particularly the painful ones or the sticky relationships with just entirely new eyes. Just
Mhm.
see these people in an entirely new perspective. And I applied it, like I worked and I applied it. And so then in 2024, my mantra is May as well.
Oh,
Like May as
I
well, you
like
may as
that.
well, may as well.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's been this energetic shift from like I did the work, the heavy
Mhm.
work, the grunt work, and now it's like it gets to be a little bit lighter. And so part of that is, yeah, this like a thankfulness for
Mhm.
the shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much in that, the thankfulness for the shit. That's been a big part for me as well. um, yeah, pieces where you're like, that is the worst thing, the hardest thing I've ever had to go through. And there can even be that like, why? Like, why? That was so unfair. Why? And looking back and just really recognizing that I wouldn't be who I am today without that. I would
Yeah.
be different and maybe wouldn't, not better or worse, but I wouldn't be who I am today. And I really like who I am today. And so
Yeah.
we have to think that. And I remember watching, I think it was the I'm Not Your Guru, Tony Robbins. I think it was in that documentary where he has a young woman talking to him about, how awful her dad was. And he kind of interrupts her and he's like, hey, if you're going to give him all of the credit for what an asshole he was and everything he did wrong and how hard he was on you, are you also going to give him the credit for creating who you are today? Because you can't just like, point the finger. And it reminds me of that because I historically have been like a worse, this is a little bit like out of left field now or a little bit diverting, but um I yeah, for a long time was the like worst case scenario, planning for the worst case scenario always. And it's like if we're gonna give all of this attention to the worst case scenario, should we not also give the same amount of attention to the best case scenario? Which kind of brings me back to that like may as well. Like may as well
Literally may as
energy.
well.
Might
Yeah.
as well. Why
I call
not?
it,
And that also
you know, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe,
yes.
like
Oh
Narnia.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I call it Narnia, right? Like if you're gonna make like if you're gonna Narnia land it and make like a shitty one, then you may as well Narnia land it, make a good one. It's so funny that you say that because I wrote this today. I always, when I'm on the treadmill, like warming up for my
Mhm.
workout, I
Mhm.
always like write. I
Mhm.
wrote this, you know, it's this is just a little snippet, hasn't gone anywhere yet, but it's like the biggest evidence of my own healing and growth has been my ability to get excited and get my hopes up instead of mentally preparing for the worst.
Yeah.
It's like
Beautiful. Yeah.
we, we think that healing and growth is going to be like this cataclysmic, like
Yeah.
moving through the world so differently. And like, yeah, sometimes, but mostly it's like I allow myself to be glad. Wow.
Right. Right. And those aha moments where you're like, holy shit, I've come so far. I'm like quote unquote healing or healed, which I I don't even know how I feel about the word healed and healing. And I'm like in it's the world that I work in, but I'm
Yeah.
still like, there has to be a different word for that. Um, it's like there isn't a moment, like you just all of a sudden you're like, holy shit, when did that happen?
Yeah.
When did that happen? I'm
Yeah.
different.
You just respond differently to
Yeah.
something, anything, something
Yeah.
bad, something good. Not that anything
Yeah.
is good or bad, but we add the flavor
Yeah.
to it. Our perception adds the flavor, and we
Yeah.
just show up differently.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, it's a random question. It came out of nowhere. It's not like I ask anyone this, but is there anything? I think because I just came out of a conversation where there was a bit of like fuego, there was some fire in this conversation. Is there anything right now? It could be like in the coaching world, it could be in the feminine energetic world, it could be in life, it could be in the dating world, it could be in anything. Is there anything like kind of firing you up that you feel really edgy about? And you're just like, I have a lot of shit to say about this.
Oh, so many things.
We have
Um,
time.
okay, so in the feminine energetics world, a bone that I have to pick, because here's the thing, like the pendulum always swings, right?
Mhm.
I've recently ditched my desk chair and I've just been standing. And so when I get
Okay.
excited, I feel like,
Yeah. I'm feeling
um,
inspired by that actually. Okay, I have
oh,
questions for you about that after.
my body feels so much better.
Okay, great.
But anyways, so yeah, the pendulum always swings. So like, yes, of course, we, the introduction of say like modern feminism and post World War II, and like we saw this rise of women in the workforce, and we've got the boss babe era,
Mhm. Mhm.
and for you and I in our ages, we were like fully immersed in that, like hyper independent, don't need no man, like
Yeah,
whatever. And now we've realized that like, oh, we took it too far, and we've been
we
coming
did a bad
back.
thing.
Yeah. But we now, I think, so much of the teachings, and it's so beautiful, right? Like so much of the teachings around, feminine energy, or even like the cycle information that's out there. Um, but the bone that I have to pick is that the feminine can do hard things.
Mhm.
And we've somehow now been sold this story that the only thing feminine energy does is flows and is just with her body and whatever she wants. And it's like the female form carries and births life.
Right.
That is, oh, you know, I will argue this. I haven't done it personally, but I have been there and witnessed the home births of my three nieces, like was in the tub with my sister. There is nothing harder
Yeah.
than that. And that is the most feminine thing that there is. So, this
Mhm.
idea that the feminine cannot do hard things, and that the moment we do anything hard, the moment we show determination or discipline, that we are in our masculine, I don't buy it. It doesn't resonate for me. It just,
Mhm.
yeah, I just don't love this kind of, I feel like we've now drawn this line and made it super black and white. And it's like, we're talking
Mhm.
about energy. It's not
Yeah.
black and white. So
We're also like,
that would be,
that's your beef, that's your bone. And it's like, what is the most, maybe not the most, but in my mind, when I think of like the feminine, I think of Mother Nature. And if we want to talk about softness, sure, we'll talk about the rose petals and we'll talk about the beautiful swaying leaves and the grass and the trickling creek, but what about the rushing waterfall and the thunderstorm and the fire and the earthquake? Like what about that? What about the ocean? What about that?
yeah.
It's
And
like,
all the seasons. In the summer, we drove. God, I don't even know what the area is called. Essentially, you drive to Kelowna and then you go like 4 hours into like nowhere, like
Okay.
no
Like
cell
our
reception.
interior. Yeah.
The interior, yeah. And
Yeah.
we're driving along, my boyfriend and I, and on this, it's absolutely stunning out there. And so, yeah, there's
Mhm.
like fields of grass and flowers and like this beautiful sun and the clouds. And then there's like jagged mountains. And then all of a sudden the
Yes.
weather changes and it's like angry. And he just like out of nowhere, he's like, we're kind of admiring like the dichotomy. And he's like, Mother Nature is a woman. Yes.
Yes. Yes, she is.
Exactly. Right?
Yes.
It's like all of it. And that's why, this concept of like the full range feminine, that's it. It's like, I just don't think that we should get, I didn't like the idea that we were sold that we are just small men. I don't love
Mhm.
that either, but I also don't love this idea that we're now kind of being sold. It's being propelled a lot in the feminine energetics sort of industry where yeah, now all of a sudden we're just, yeah, like these soft, fragile little things. And even it even ties in with like the cycle work, right? Like, and when I am teaching this, it's like, yes, we have these ebbs and flows, but don't let that lock you in either. Like I've had clients text me, they're like, I'm 2 days before my bleed and I actually have so much energy. I'm like, amazing, brilliant.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it this isn't meant to box you in and force you to be one way or another. It's just to be aware and in tune with your body and let it have some input in your life, not for you to be like,
Mhm.
this is my creative time and this is my
Mhm.
logical time, and not let yourself veer from that either.
Yeah, my brain is going in so many places right now, and what's coming up, and we can go with it or not go with it, is like the level of sister wounding there is. And because it's like, okay, so, you know, back in the, let's call it 15 years ago, 20 years ago, maybe even earlier than that, or like later, closer to our time, it was, women are, I'm going to be dramatic. Women are useless. They don't do anything. Just like stay at home, cook and clean, do the thing. You know,
Yeah.
husband's going to take care of everything. And then there was the boss babe era where it's like, I don't need a man. Watch me hold my latte. We're going. And again, it's like the pendulum. And now we're kind of back to the like what you just talked about. Like, no, women are just, like we're just gonna be gentle. And it's like in all of those, there's women judging other women in each of those sections. So it's like when the boss babe era was like big. And if people don't know what we're talking about with the boss babe era, bless your heart, I'm glad, because it was kind of icky, but it was basically like women feeling like it was like feminism on crack, where it was like, I don't need anything, I don't need help, watch me do everything, and like really rigid, kind of aggressive energy. And so you have the women who are still like in that watch me do everything, judging the women who are trying to find their softness because they've been in that for so long. And then you've got the women who are in their softness. They've finally found what softness feels like. And there's judgment towards the women who haven't found that yet. And
Yeah.
then there's like, um, oh gosh, my brain is going in all sorts of different directions. But like when are we all just gonna like, hey girl, I see you on the pendulum. I'm with you. I am with you. I see you. You're doing a really good job. You're doing a really, really good job. Like,
Yeah.
and it's happening. It's happening. And it's happening by like case in point, I met you through another, I'll say mutual friend. Your mentor is an old high school friend of mine, one of your mentors. And we met through a women's mastermind. Like we are coming together is really beautiful. And the idea, the feeling of collaboration and not competition
Yeah.
is so beautiful. And to be able to just sit and like share with each other and listen to each other and learn from each other and celebrate each other. It's like it is really happening. I'm answering my own question here. I'm just like talking myself through this. Like it's happening and it's beautiful. And I can still see like how much wounding there is. And I
Yeah.
don't know if you have anything to hold that together with a pretty bow, because that wasn't pretty, but it was
No, it was
a
super
thought.
fun. It was a full range feminine moment. It was, that's the thing. Um, I, I do like it's so funny that you say that because it's like on one hand, okay, part of me allowing myself to be excited and whatnot, um, is I really do try to live in a space where I am so excited and hopeful for our collective future as humankind,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Now we're both in Canada. Things are a little weird right now.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
lot out there that can make us doubt that, but the energy that I try to uphold while not burying my head in the sand is that, like, all gonna be okay. We're all gonna be more than okay. And so I would
Hmm.
like to say that collectively we are seeing a healing of the sister wound, but like the pendulum, like that pendulum that we were just talking about and how it always swings. Part of, okay, this is gonna go all over the place, but you're talking about that time in which women were like, you were just at home, you're just a housewife, you're cooking, you're cleaning, whatever. And
Hmm.
then we decided that that was no good, that that was useless, and that we had to be more than that. And so during that time, I think there was a lot of competition with women. That was the time when, um, wedge started to be driven in between women, even just in like competition for men, essentially, right? And so then we see
Hmm.
this morph and change. And so then we end up in a place where collectively we are kind of healing the sister wound during this boss babe era. But the thing is that we took the healing of the sister wound to an I hate men space.
Hmm. Hmm.
Right? And so, collectively, I do think there was a lot of healing that occurred for women towards other women, and that is beautiful. But if the sacrifice that we made along
Hmm.
the way is that now we are condemning and hating on men or having no use for men, it's like we accomplished one thing, but we kind of lost another. So,
Hmm.
I would like to hope that this next kind of piece of the puzzle is borrowing bits and pieces of all of this, and realizing that, we as women can support one another as women, as just women, without all these fucking rules and regulations and how you're
Hmm.
supposed to be and be a boss babe or be a soft life, trad wife, whatever, that we can just, like you said, see each other. Like, I see you doing your thing. It's hard, but that we can also acknowledge that we can do that better when we also honor and celebrate our male counterparts, and that
Hmm.
it is this symbiosis,
Hmm.
the yin and the yang, the polarity magic of, not,
Hmm.
I don't mean just in relationship, but like as a collective, that
Yeah.
is now kind of the next step, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad that you said that. It's like literal like quantum physics. Like we need both. And I don't know why humans, I mean, I do know why. There's lots of reasons why we've landed here, but to think that we could bypass like how it actually is supposed to work is quite comical.
Yes.
and, and knowing that like there are wounded people are wounded and they're living their existence from what they know and from their experiences. And if there could just be this bit of grace for people to figure it out and to meet you where you're at. And so, yeah, I have a client right now who she's, deep in her work and having these realizations, and her partner's, um, you know, pausing, probing, causing a little bit of challenge. Like she's really having to like, okay, and he's in his process and he's in his process. And that's the thing is we really have to give people their space to have process with, honoring ourselves if that's something that is getting affected. But yeah, patience and grace and like really honoring our brothers and sisters. And we can't do it alone. Like anytime I'm facilitating circle, if there's men and women, the overarching like loud theme is from the women, thank you so much for being here, to the men. And
Yeah.
the men are like finding a softness and like and an honoring for the women. Like it's so beautiful to be in retreat and ceremony with both,
Yeah.
and to have them see each other in their own journeys and their own healing process. It's pure magic. It really, really is. And, being in circle with women is magical too, but there's a difference.
Totally. Totally.
Yeah, there's a difference. What does your partner think of all this work?
He thinks I'm insane, which is
Yeah.
how I like it.
Yeah. Keep him on his
Um,
toes.
he's not like in this space at all, and he doesn't even have social media.
Oh,
So
bless his heart.
yeah. Um, so obviously he knows and witnesses like the aspects that live in our home with us, right?
Hmm.
Um, but he's not, tapped into the social media world or the coaching world at all.
Hmm.
Um, so for him, I think it was like last week we were sort of having a conversation about something, and I think he had listened to something, and he's like it's so nice that there's people like you that are, encouraging women to give us men a fucking chance to try to like catch up a little,
Yeah.
and like it's funny because that's like a very sort of simplified version, but like that's all that is. And my journey of
Mhm.
healing my wounds towards the masculine, like it's been it's been one.
Mhm.
I was on the phone
Mhm.
last night with a friend who's been, navigating the dating world and all this stuff, and she got very, very hurt by her kid's father, who's just now completely vanished, and she's been
Mhm.
sort of dating, and she's like, Amy, like, how could I ever, like, if the father of my children could do this to me and to them, like, how could I ever trust a man again? And I was like, the thing is that everyone has that story. Like,
Mhm.
there are very, very few of us out
Mhm.
there that don't have every fucking reason in the world, male and female, to
Yeah.
be completely mistrusting and
Mhm.
guarded of the other sex. Like, we
Mhm.
all have a sad story. So it's like,
Mhm.
are you going to, and this is the thing, is like it takes bravery. It takes an immense amount of courage to like
Mhm.
lay down the guards. And so, that has been an enormous part of like my dharma, and I think passing that message along. And that's, I mean, you asked me what makes me feel edgy, and like a lot of the sort of stuff that's out there in like the dating and relationship world is, which part of it is just that when people are making videos, you have to make really polarizing content. And like I've done it too,
Mhm.
just taking really strong stances
Mhm.
on stuff. But it's like this concept of like having discernment, of course, but yeah, giving men a fighting chance to show up for us. And,
Yeah.
I talk a lot about how men lead in the tangible world, right? I love a
Mhm.
masculine man, right? There's been this
Mhm.
wave. Have you seen the wave of like people talking about their golden retriever boyfriends? Have you
Yes.
heard this concept?
I have.
Okay, so
I
I'm not
have,
into
but
golden retriever. I like a German shepherd. Okay, like not very friendly to anyone except me, like fiercely loyal, like will tear your head off in an
Mhm.
instant, only playful in private. Like that's what I like. Okay, that's my style. But it's like I don't even know where I was going with that. Where was I going? Um, just the like the navigating of this dating world and this relational world, and how everyone is coming at it from, yeah, like you said, the word grace, you using the word grace, I feel like that is just like that's it. Can we
Mhm.
offer some grace and also accountability? Because
Mhm.
most of us that have these stories of why we shouldn't trust, that like I will hold myself 1,000% accountable. I walked into my abusive relationship with eyes fucking wide open. I saw those
Mhm.
red flags and thought it was a carnival. To be fair, I was 22 years old. Frontal cortex isn't fully formed,
That's
but
fair.
like,
Yeah.
we also have to take some freaking accountability along the way for the situations that we put ourselves in or kept ourselves in. And I'm not trying to
Mhm.
victim blame at all, but it's like that's part of the journey too,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah. And that is like, I'm a firm believer, and I'm a firm believer that everything that lands for us, everything that's here, everything that happens for us is for us. I really do. Like, even the shittiest of shit, there is something there. There is something there. And typically we don't know what that something is for quite some time. Yeah. And I understand that that can be hard for some people depending on the severity of what the thing is that happened. And and so again, there's grace there. Like, the thing is we might not even know what the reason was in this lifetime.
Yes.
And again, this is going to also like depends on what you believe, but I fully, firmly, 110% believe that in this lifetime, everything that happens to us is for a reason. And that reason might be that in 25 years after the fact, you have this little moment on the treadmill where you write something down and you're like, holy shit. And this wouldn't be possible if XYZ didn't happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like coming back to the grace, like we all need, yeah. I think if we zoomed out, like if we just really zoomed out of Earth and saw what the aliens see, like it's all actually so simple. This is not that big of a deal. Everything is really simple. We're really going so far out of our way to make everything more challenging than it needs to be.
Yeah.
Like human, interact with kindness, interact with curiosity. Oh, they just snapped at me. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to take that. Okay, interesting. Rather than like, fuck you and start a fight, or like, oh my God, what did I
Totally.
do? And blah, blah, blah. Like, huh, okay, interesting. On next, right?
Yeah.
I'm definitely not there yet, but like
And what
I
even
know
is
we're
there yet? You know, one of the things I was just talking, I have a mastermind called Frequency, and it's like these, you know, women that are like us, like have been doing the freaking work. And so the conversations that go on are just incredible, right? And I'm like, I can fully admit that I just think that there are things that I don't know if I'm gonna get. I don't know if I'm gonna fully grasp the lesson in this lifetime. You know, maybe like
Mhm,
obviously I got a lot of time still, but I'm like, I don't know if my path includes me totally completing the cycle in this lifetime.
mhm.
And I can be at peace with that because
Yeah,
I have closed out so many freaking others,
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So we really are all just doing the best we can with the tools that we have available.
Truly,
Like,
truly. And
and a
with that,
huge
it
piece
reminds
is
me,
realizing we don't all have the same tools. And I mean,
right.
you know, if it sounds like your belief is that we get more than one go at this thing, and like,
Mhm,
you know, that's a big part of my belief system too. So I like it's very clear, it's very obvious that we are not all operating with the same toolkit,
mhm,
right?
mhm,
Like it's and we do glean some tools along the way, but it seems to me at least very obvious that we come to this particular form with a set of tools, and some of us
mhm,
just get different ones than others.
mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've seen this sweet little thing I saw on Instagram, and it was specifically about parents, but ultimately it's like humans. And it was this really sweet video. I've actually seen it a few different times of someone just recording their parents. And they're like, parents are in their 60s or their 70s, and they're just doing, normal things. And it's just this reminder that, like, remember that it's their first time too. Right. And that goes for everybody. Like if your great grandparents, if they're still alive, it's their first time too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all really are doing. There's no, I mean, people say it when they have children, there's no handbook on how to do any of this.
Oh,
I know
children.
there's a lot of like self-help books on how to like fix something about yourself, but all of that is also, it's another conversation. But I have my feelings around this self-help
The
book
hyper
department.
masculine personal development keep you stuck in a loop. Oh,
Yeah, this
industry?
is wrong with you. This is wrong with you. This is
Yeah.
wrong with you. This is wrong with you. But I have a book
Yeah.
for you. It'll fix it.
Like, you know what is 10 times more fun and healing than reading personal development is like reading fucking fiction.
Right.
Like sometimes people will message me, they're like, could you have like any books you can recommend? I'm like, yeah, like smut, erotica. You will have a
Totally.
better day, okay?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. Any good book recommendations right now?
What am I reading right now? I'm
What are
reading
you reading?
what's it called? I'm not in love with it, but I like once I start a book, I have to continue it through. It's called
Hmm.
Adult Onset. I don't know, I stole it off my mom's
Hmm.
bookshelf. Um,
Okay.
but it's a little bit, here's a fun fact about me. I
Mhm.
really like I like stories and shows about the past.
Oh, okay.
So in this book, she like talks about having her iPad and doing this and that. And so it just doesn't, it's like not what does it for me. I
It's
want
too
to read,
modern. Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
studied like classic literature in university. Like I just like the romantic stuff. My favorite
Hmm.
author is John Steinbeck. That's what I like.
Okay.
Um,
Hmm.
but that is what I'm reading right now. Oh, but I'm listening to an audiobook. Have you heard of The Queen's Code?
No.
You'll love it. So it
Okay.
is
Writing this down.
it's called The Queen's Code, and it's just the way that the style of book is really, it's essentially, it's like a blend. Like it's been written from the style of like a conversation, like a fictitious conversation, and it's basically about men, understanding, celebrating men, which, like I said, this is a huge part of my journey. I listen
Hmm.
to it, I put my headphones on every night when I'm like making dinner and stuff. And I swear by the time we sit down to eat dinner, like the way that I can look at and love and appreciate my man has like 10x just in the 20
Oh,
minutes that I'm listening to it. Everyone should listen to it. Everyone should listen
yeah.
to it. Um, and for me, I understand that everyone has a different sort of background and that this isn't going to be as, if you had parents that loved and respected each other, it's not going to be as groundbreaking for you. I didn't have that.
What
So
is that like?
it sounds fake, but it does apparently exist. It is a thing. I'm
Okay.
like that and secure attachment style. I'm like, is it real though? But yeah,
Sounds
The
made up.
Queen's Code.
Okay.
And then apparently there's a second book to it called Keys to the Kingdom, and I will definitely be
Hmm.
getting that one. But yeah, I
Okay.
love an audiobook.
Incredible. I do too. Yeah. Okay, that's getting popped in the show notes. Thank you for that. That feels like a really important piece.
Totally.
Um, Speaking of show notes, what do you have? What are you sharing with the world these days? This is going to come out April 15th, if that helps at all.
Okay. So, what I'm sharing with the world these days, I do one-on-one coaching for, the better life.
Yeah.
I have a signature program called Leading Femme, which is a feminine leadership in business program. So, it's about sort of dismantling like the colonialist capitalist box that so many of us operate our businesses in, and how to actually use your feminine magic and magnetism to run a wetter, better business, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then if this is coming out on April 15th, I will have just launched, so you can come and check it out on my Instagram page. I will have just launched something that's starting May 1st, which is Femme Brand. And this is kind of like an offshoot space of Leading Femme. This is going to be a membership program where energy meets strategy. So, feminine energy, feminine led business, going to be a place where you can drop in and just get like a little nugget, a little piece of wisdom. Some of it will be sort of embodiment work, others will be like straight up business strategy type stuff. So, this is going to be just like a really fun space with all sorts of bits and pieces and love notes from me and ways to connect with other women. The entrepreneurial journey, as you know, can be a little lonely
Yeah.
sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I love that. And what is your Instagram? Is that the best place to find you? You mentioned
Yeah.
it, so
I'm
I'm just
most
okay.
active on Instagram. I also have a TikTok. I have a website. What else do I have? And I have a podcast. But I am Aymie Allexandra, Aymie Alexandra on all the platforms. And my podcast is The Full Range Feminine.
Yay. And I've been binging it and I love that they're like bite size. Anything under like 30 minutes is bite size. And
Yeah.
I love that I get just to like a little bit of Amy in my ear while I'm food
I'm
prepping
a
usually.
projector, so I'm like short
I
bursts.
love it. I love it. It's so good. Okay, so everyone needs to run to your page and do all the things, listen to your podcast, join your membership, all the things. Anything else front and center present that needs to be shared before we depart?
I feel like we covered it. We went all sorts of ways, but I feel like the overarching message of all of this is like you can let it be easy. It's really not that serious. We love to
Mhm.
overcome, like you said, we love to overcomplicate it, but like a little bit
Mhm.
of grace, a
Mhm.
little bit of extra love goes a long fucking way.
It really does. I think we've just gotten a little addicted to the drama a little bit. Like, ooh, let's spice this up.
I am like a chaos creature. Like, oh, I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, girl. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It was an honor and a pleasure.
Yeah, it was so sweet. I'm excited to get this all out and about for the peoples and yeah, get your good medicine in their ears. So thank you, babe.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day.
You too, babe.
Bye.